everyone to episode 116 of the internet.
I'm not used to having it, so that's why.
The internet sensation known as Triple Threat Talk. I am Gary the Dr. Locker, joined by Big B, Brendan DeMuro. Mr. Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers, is out well, I don't know if he's on assignment or not.
He's trying to be.
He's trying to be. Tony Stewart's in town, and he went to go check out Mr. Stewart and see if maybe he could get an autograph, maybe an interview. Who knows? Who knows? Next week you turn down Triple Threat Talk, you might see Tony Stewart on here. Even he can't believe it.
No, right.
He can't believe it.
There you go.
Outstanding job by Big B and myself.
And Postmaster.
Yeah, Postmaster did well too. 12-4 this week in pick'ems for me and you. 11-5 for Postmaster. Via the tie rule that entitles you to top.
Well, I'm still the two game lead, yes.
So, but anyways, we're gonna jump right into abuser questions.
Got some big headlines this week. Before we get into questions, breaking news just broke not long ago. The Browns actually traded away their star running back Trent Richardson to the Colts for a first-round pick. We'll get more into that when we get into headlines. So let's go into abuser questions as we always do. From the Buck in 5, he wants to know, how do we feel? I guess just you and me this time. About Jim Ross being forced to retire, or fired, or whatever, but forced to retire because he did not stop or control Ric Flair during the SummerSlam WWE 2K14 panel.
I don't think that should be on JR.
It's not. It shouldn't be. Right?
I don't think it should be on JR. There's other things to. There's other people there to consider. Looks like they're just trying to find a scapegoat to me, and it's sad that it has to be JR.
Yeah.
I think this will be one of those things where after it happens, after a little bit of time will go by, they'll come crawling on their feet to JR and beg for him to come back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he said he had a bunch of health issues and he got to take care of him. I'm glad he's in good health and all that other stuff. Obviously the whole thing out there is that he was forced to retire because they didn't want to look bad if they said they fired JR, because fans would completely,
they'd riot.
They'd riot, exactly. So it's not good. And I watched the 2K14 panel. They were having fun. They were just shooting, and I enjoyed it. But again, I guess everybody didn't see it that way. They didn't see it as a professional environment, how they wanted to watch it. So I don't know. It's a shame for JR to have to leave because of that. I didn't care for it, but I mean it is what it is. But I agree with the doc. Hopefully they kind of get over it and they invite him back to do something. I mean, he's not commentating. I get he's not commentating, but give him something, a role to play, because he deserves to be in the company. So, also from the Buck in 5, do you think with the storyline featuring Cody Rhodes right now, do you think that he'll be given a push when he returns? I
don't think so. I think something might happen to where he'll probably be pushed a little bit harder for the mid-card. He might get a title shot. I kind of was mulling that over. But I think right now it's just going to be him. It's going to be the Rhodes versus the McMahons here very shortly. And who knows where that one will go.
I think he does get the push, because before he quote-unquote left, he was feuding with Sandow. And Sandow's, quite possibly the worst Money in the Bank winner ever. He hasn't won a single match yet, so that looks bad. But again, typical WWE with Money in the Bank, they're probably going to have him cash out when they least expect it, and he'll win, and everyone will be, oh my god. So
the way he's talking about it, I don't know if he's going to win. No one's ever boasted that much about it. I think they might do it just so John Cena's not the only one.
I've never seen someone in the history of the Money in the Bank look this bad. Like
he looks pretty bad.
He's losing to people like Santino, and it doesn't look good. But I think Cody gets that push. He was getting a push anyway. I think him beating Sandow multiple times was good for him. Him being so close to Money in the Bank briefcase, I think that's boded well for him. So I think when he comes back, he gets a big push, especially since Sheamus is off of SmackDown, so they need someone to step up and be a main eventer. I think they could use him in that spot. So from the Jeffrey Caster, Big B, what? Stephanie McMahon invited Dusty Rhodes on Raw last Monday. Yeehaw. Will I be the next guest and the Rhodes family to be invited?
Yes, you will. You will.
I'm not in the Rhodes family.
You married into it. It comes with the territory. It's now Brandon Rhodes DeMuro. Brandon DeMuro Rhodes. But yeah, WWE has in fact contacted Big B about an appearance.
I wish.
So we'll keep you guys posted on that.
Really? Caster? Really? right, well, that does it for reviews or questions this week. Thanks for all the comments, criticisms, of course, from the lovely viewers at home. Questions, comments, queries, quandaries, and criticisms.
Seriously, 3 questions? We know there's have literally thousands of viewers. Why are there only 3 questions?
Against all odds, did ask 2 questions, but we felt like we shouldn't address them. So, because one question was about Dusty Rhodes, and then the other one was about Elder Scrolls being named greatest series of the decade. I didn't hear about that, so I have no really opinion on it. So
that should have been the Batman series, by the way.
Well, it's a whole nother thing. Whatever. Anyway,
but anyways, yeah. So. Guys, there are thousands of you viewing the show, whether it's on thefanadvocate.com or YouTube or one of our outsourced places that just pick up our stuff for free and find it not necessary to pay us. Yeah, thank you. Feel free to ask a question. We'll answer anything. I don't care. Big B went through the questions this week and he chose to answer that one by Jeffrey Caster. So we'll answer anything.
Well, not anything, but
almost anything.
Send us reviews or questions.
Jeffrey Caster's viewer of the week.
Whatever. That's fine.
Jeffrey Caster, you are this week's episode 116 Triple Threat Talk Viewer of the Week.
Because he asked about my Raw appearance, which is...
Because it's always funny when a fan makes fun of Big B. It's great.
That's just great time.
It's rainbows.
Rainbows and butterflies.
I love it. So... Don't hate.
So, now the questions are over.
Hit my music.
It's your time to shine.
Thank you.
Doctor, give me the news. I got the bad case of the headline blues.
Make a little love, do a little dance, get down tonight.
Wasn't that song in Flubber?
Get down tonight. I don't know. I don't watch that show. I don't watch that movie.
With Robin Williams?
Do you think I watched something called Flubber? I have more important things to do with my time.
Well, it was back when you were a child. It was a long time ago.
I came out of the womb 30 years old. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know where to go from that. I really don't know where to go from that one. Alright, so.
Alright. Let's start with a little local sports and NCAA. U of L 27. UAK 13, they did cover the spread.
And it's like we all said on the show, 14 points.
We said they'd cover, and that was all of us on the show. I forgot that you did.
Yeah, we all said 14 points.
Yeah. What'd you take from it?
Not impressive enough from Louisville.
I agree with that.
The funny thing was, this is no joke. I wasn't watching the game entirely. I saw the tail end of it. I was playing tennis with my father, and I was looking up the score of the game, and it was, Louisville wasn't really playing that great, and they were, I kept seeing them pass, and I said to myself, you have Sonoris Perry, you have Michael Dyer, use them.
You got that reversed.
What?
They ran. They did not pass.
I'm saying, I kept seeing.
I can see where you. Because you weren't watching.
Right, I kept seeing. I kept seeing them pass, and then eventually. They ran the ball in the second half, and Perry got a lot of yards, and Dyer got a lot of yards.
Here's what happened. Since I watched the full game, and you're partially right but partially wrong as usual. What happened was at the very beginning, Teddy Bridgewater was not utilizing his receiving core at all. They were running, and it showed because through the first quarter they averaged less than a yard a rush, which. To UAK's defense, their defense was outstanding.
Yeah, and
outstanding.
Barring anything, upcoming for Louisville, because the teams they play are pretty poor, especially Cincinnati. I don't think Cincinnati's going to be that great because they got blown by Illinois. UAK is probably going to be the best defense they play all year.
Oh, absolutely. So. That defense, Stoops has that defense looking great. Last year, they fell apart in the second half, I will admit.
The thing I want to mention, this is... Again, I think Louisville is one of the better teams in the country, and I think they need to play this way to get Bridgewater a chance at the Heisman and national championship. But I firmly believe, I am not kidding, I think Louisville still would have won, but I think if Maxwell Smith did not get hurt, they would have been a lot closer.
Oh, yeah, it definitely would have.
A lot closer.
And the reason is because UAK is retooled now. They're going through the rebuilding process. This defense got hammered all game, every game last year. The fact that they even lasted a half is a sign of improvement. Yeah. They played phenomenal the first half. They gave up, I think, 7 points the entire first half, which is incredible against U of L.
Yeah.
UAK, on a side note, does have one of the best records in football going right now. They are second in FBS in third down conversion percentage.
Yeah.
16% is what teams convert on third down.
I was going to say, you meant
That's
defensively.
Yeah, defensively.
Offensively, they couldn't get third down.
Offensively, no. But, so that is a very good stat they're working on. Special teams for UK looked very well, averaging 29 yards a return, which was incredible. U of L, what they did right, they did everything right. Nobody was saying that how great. Everybody said that U of L played poorly. I disagree.
I thought Bridgewater played a lot better in the second half.
Yeah, he did. And what happened was people just don't want to admit that UK has come this far along, and that's the issue.
I think it's two things on that. One, I think that people need to realize that UK is rebuilding. Mm-hmm. This is not your father's UK football team.
Right.
They're going to be. I think they're going to get a lot better with Stoops and coaching. He's doing a really good job recruiting. That defense is very good. So people that wanted UK to upset them, that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, it wasn't going to happen.
Louisville's way too good for Kentucky at this point in college football. I think Kentucky fans should be proud of how they played.
Absolutely.
Their defense played really well. They
covered the spread.
They gave Louisville the toughest test they've had all year.
Yeah.
The other teams, they just ran through them. Kentucky gave them a tough game. I mean, if it wasn't for those turnovers by Kentucky might have won the game. And if Smith didn't get hurt, who knows? But, again, Bridgewater, this performance for him was not good enough to...
And he lost stock.
Lost stock in the Heisman, exactly. So he needed to play lights out, and he did not. So his stock dropped in the Heisman. He needs to pick it up again because, we're going to get to him a little bit later, and he had another fantastic game with Johnny Manziel. But Bridgewater, he'll pick it up because he's a smart kid, and he'll do a good job.
Yeah, and I think what needs to be taken from this game is the fact that UK is going to be the toughest game that U of L plays all year.
Which is good. It's good for you if you're a U of L fan.
They're the only top 25 team U of L is that doesn't play another top 25 team. So you can kiss national championship goodbye. It's just not going to happen.
They have to run the table, and they have to dominate. They can't.
And no, they're already done. I mean, they can't.
Well, they didn't move anywhere. They're still seventh.
In the coaches poll, they moved up to 7th, which who cares about the coaches poll? Right. In the AP poll, they're steady at 8th.
Okay. They are.
I can't see it happening.
They can't do it on their own.
I don't see it happening.
They need help.
And I'll tell you why. You have 10 weeks to go of regular season. Okay, you have 10 weeks to go of regular season. All right. This week is a garbage week. This week, there are no games going on. That's why ESPN Game Day is in North Dakota State covering Division 1A football. Because there is absolutely no major college games going on. There are no expected upsets. No one's even picked an upset this week, and that's not going to happen. I mean, that just doesn't happen. So right there, you lose a week. So that brings you to 9 weeks left of regular season. They're 8th. They have to move up 7 spots. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So... we'll continue talking about this a little bit more after the break. We'll get into some other games. Texas A&M. Is there any tennis news this week?
There's not.
No tennis news this week. Talk a little NASCAR. Talk a little Heisman, and talk a little NFL coming up after the break on Triple Threat Talk.
The late 90s. A chance meeting at summer camp between young Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson sparks one of the fiercest Madden rivalries of our time. They vow to become the greatest mobile quarterbacks in the NFL, so they can someday beat each other with each other in Madden. Their training regimen quickly becomes the stuff of legends.
Set, hut.
All their years of hard work have led up to this moment. Man versus man. Video game man versus video game man.
Is that how you do it?
A season 25 years in the making. Madden NFL 25. Rated E for everyone.
EA Sports. It's in the can. Official game console of the NFL.
And welcome back, everyone, to Triple Threat Talk. I'm Gary, the Dr. Lockhart, joined as always by Big B Brandon DeMuro. Postmaster Jones has the night off.
Night off?
Yeah, I know, right? Wouldn't it be nice for you to take a night off?
I can't ever take
Exactly, you can't ever take a night off. So, UK U of L, we were talking about that a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they're done. I think U of L They might still make it to the BCS game. I do think that that's very possible.
Yeah. I mean, if they go undefeated, you kind of have to recognize
you a little bit. There have been undefeated teams playing garbage bowls before, but I think it's one of those things that this year the strength schedule is just not there. Mathematically, it doesn't add up. They lost out on a lot of stock, not taking care of business against UK, but that's partially because UK didn't let them either. No. UK did not lay down and take it. UK played very well, 14 points. I heard some loser call in the television show, call in one of the local television shows, saying it wasn't an exciting game. Are you kidding me? Everybody the night of was saying how much of an unexpected treat the excitement of that game was. It was very exciting. The only really knock that most people have is what I was saying earlier. To your point, the Teddy Bridgewater didn't throw it as much. You have a Heisman quality quarterback, and you have that receiving core, which right now I bet the New England Patriots would love to have. They just didn't use them, and it took them a while to get started. Took the first half to get started in the running game. Eventually, U of L ended up with 242 yards on the ground, about 250 yards passing, a couple touchdowns for Teddy. So he did okay, but it was not a... So you're asking how does his stock drop? Well, it's because...
People in front of him.
Such as the next person we're going to talk about here.
But with Louisville, though, we'll get to that in 1 second. But with Louisville, they could end up in a situation like Boise State was a couple years ago, where they have to hope everyone in front of them has at least one loss.
I don't think even that'll help them. I really don't. Because
you're going to hear people yelling at it. If, for example, every team in front of them has one loss and Louisville's still undefeated, you're kind of like, hey, this is how the computer system works. If you're undefeated, you should be in that. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Again, they have to have Alabama, Clemson, all those teams lose in front of them, so we'll see what happens. I don't think Alabama's going to lose. I think their toughest test was A&M. We'll see what happens. I mean, they're going to play LSU and Georgia. We'll see what happens with that. But it's going to be tough for Louisville to run the table. They have to really dominate, and they have to stay undefeated.
So our next game here, Bama 49 over Texas A&M 42. Do I know football or do I know football? I nailed that. Exactly nailed it. I said it's going to be a high-scoring game because the defenses haven't been tested yet. Bam.
I mean, I was watching the game in the beginning, and A&M came out really fast. Manziel throwing 2 quick touchdowns, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, is this going to be a rout? And then Alabama came roaring back. I think they would have 38-14 at one point.
Yep.
And then I was like,
Manziel's head.
And then I was like, okay, Alabama's going to roll. And then flip around, A&M comes back, and you know,
it was a great game.
It was a great game. I mean,
loved watching every second.
I mean, for me, one of the greatest games I ever saw was when Vince Young and Matt Leinart were playing for Texas and USC respectively in that national championship. That was one of the greatest games I've ever seen. This is right up there. I mean, it was as close as you can get. Manziel and McCarron played absolutely fantastic. It was a great game. I mean, last year A&M went into Tuscaloosa, beat them. Now Alabama goes into the College Station and beats A&M, so now they're 1-1. So.
It was a phenomenal game to watch. The Heisman stock of Johnny Manziel skyrocketed.
I don't think A.J. McCarron gets enough credit.
I don't think he does either. I think A.J. McCarron, he used to be what they called the game manager.
Right.
You know, kind of like how Alex Smith was a couple years ago for the 49ers. Kind of like how they were actually expecting Russell Wilson to be for the Seahawks until he broke out. But it's one of those things that A.J. McCarron is a phenomenal quarterback. In years past, he is not known for throwing up 49 points in the game, which is what I touched on.
Well, again, the A&M defense is...
But that A&M defense is just bad. I could get out there and play defense better than half of those kids.
Well, maybe.
Johnny Manziel's first now on the Heisman watch.
Which expected. After the game last year, he was in the lead. So.
Marcus Mariota from Oregon. I don't think he's getting enough credit. It's because he's playing in Oregon and you got the Pac-12.
Yeah, and they're run heavy.
It's just absurd. Yeah. When you throw up that many points, that's just sickening. Against Tennessee.
And the thing is, it's funny. Oregon lost Chip Kelly, and they're just going to continue to do it.
Tennessee, because those are still Chip's boys playing.
That's true.
Tennessee's an SEC team, but still.
They're not very good.
I mean, but still, you know.
So.
A.J. McCarron and Taj Boyd are tied for third, and Teddy Bridgewater is about to drop out of the top 5 probably here in the next couple weeks because their strength of schedule is going to plummet.
He needs to have games like he had the first 2 weeks.
Yep.
That's the only way he can stay in the hunt.
Yep, I agree with that. There was a major upset in college football.
There was actually nearly another one.
Yeah, there was almost another one. Arizona State pulled the upset over Wisconsin, 32-30. They moved to the 23 slot in the AP.
I'm glad you brought that up because I saw the end. I didn't see the end of the game, but I saw on ESPN that the little band, the little score across the screen, and I looked at it. I took a double take, and I was like, did I read that correctly? Supposedly, what I read was that Wisconsin was playing Arizona State in this part, and they were going for the field goal to win the game. Mm-hmm. And what I read is that apparently, again, I didn't see the play. I don't know what happened, but this is what I read on ESPN on the bottom of the screen. This is exactly what I read. And if I say this, people are like, that's confusing. This is what I read. What they put is that a player for Arizona State laid on the ball, and the referee would not allow them to spike the ball and then clock right on they lost. That just sounds far-fetched to me, like the referees didn't let them win.
If you can get to the ball first, you can lay on the ball for a split second.
And then the referee,
you're going for the ball.
And the referee wouldn't let him have it.
Yeah,
it sounds odd to me. It sounds odd.
For that ball.
Another upset almost happened. Michigan almost lost in Michigan to Akron. And they should have lost. They should have. Akron was on the goal line. They're on the doorstep knocking, but Michigan didn't let him in. But I think
that is a huge home.
Michigan got really lucky winning that game. They should have lost. Their stock definitely drops for sure. Devin Gardner didn't have a really good game. That was a tough one. And then another one, Nebraska. They were up, I believe, 21-3. 21-3. And then UCLA scored 38 unanswered points, wins 41-21. So
that was insane.
Great Nebraska defense out there. So.
Gronkowski, switching to the NFL a little bit, Gronkowski is expected to play Sunday.
50-50.
Still reporting some pain in his back and his elbow, but they need him because their receivers just suck.
I mean
that's just
honestly,
they need to get Deion Branch back.
I have never. That game last Thursday against the Jets, they won 13-10. That was a snooze fest. I have never seen Brady so visibly frustrated.
It looked like he was going to kill somebody.
I'm surprised the NFL didn't use a blur effect when he was saying things, because you can see what he was saying.
He was not happy.
He was not happy. I've never seen Brady that visibly upset. I mean, he had Edelman, which is the only guy he really threw to anyway. Everyone else, he threw one time.
He can't throw to Tompkins.
He threw to Tompkins a couple times. He threw to. I think
what's Tompkins going to do? Drop the ball?
I mean, he had one good touchdown at the beginning, and I thought, okay, here come the New England Patriots, just because Brady, and then he had no one. Everyone kept dropping the ball. He needs Gronk. He needs Amendola.
He needs to bail out Hernandez. That's what needs to happen.
That's not going to happen. But
what I took from that game is the fact that everybody wants to give Tom Brady credit for making receivers better. Mm-hmm. Wes Welker. Sarcasm here. Wes Welker wasn't a good quarterback or wasn't a good wide receiver until Tom Brady got a hold of him. False.
He was in Carolina.
Deion Branch wasn't a good receiver until Tom Brady got a hold of him. False. Last time I checked, he was an all-star wide receiver who played right here in the University of Louisville. Won a major BCS ball game and has won a Super Bowl. So I mean, just saying. Wes Welker, pretty much the same thing. Dynamite receiver in Miami, played well. Didn't have as great of a season as he could, but then again, look at his quarterback was the time he was in Miami. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it, this is proving how wrong everybody is about Tom Brady. He does not make receivers great. Tom Brady is a great quarterback. You will never hear me say otherwise. But he does not make receivers great. He just doesn't.
I would slightly disagree with that, only because I think with this... Because, again, I've seen Brady play with literally nothing, and they went to the Super Bowl the year they lost to the Giants.
He's playing with nothing right now.
Yeah, but I'm
2 weeks in a row.
But I'm just saying, they're still winning. Not great, but they're still winning.
If they were playing any other two teams in the entire league, they would have lost.
I agree. I think Buffalo should have beat them. But I think with this receiving core, he's not on the same page with them chemistry-wise.
No, he's not.
So hopefully that will fix. If not, they're going to really struggle. I mean,
it's not, because you see how frustrated he is.
I mean, they theoretically have a bye week this week. They're playing the Bucs. So
I don't think that's a bye week.
It is. The Bucs are awful. They're undisciplined.
They took it to the Saints. Did we forget what happened last past Sunday? They took it to the Saints.
Yeah.
At the Bucs.
And if it wasn't for that guy, they would have beat the Jets. But the Jets are...
It's one of those things where right now they are struggling to keep their heads above water.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady even said it himself. He said, nobody's coming in a cape. Nobody's coming. No one's bailing us out. And what that means is I think it's stupid. I think you go after Randy Moss. You go after Deion Branch. You go after anybody who's had a little bit of success that you think you can squeeze one more season out of until your receivers get back.
With New England at this point in time, with who they have, they are not a clear favorite to win the division. They're still a favorite, but not a clear favorite.
I got to give it to Miami.
I mean, Miami and Buffalo are better than they are. I thought Buffalo played fantastic against the Panthers, and I thought Miami had a huge win against Indianapolis. But
it all depends on when they get Amendola back.
If the Patriots get a healthy Gronk and a healthy Amendola, then it's their division. But if they're not healthy, it doesn't look good for them.
And it's looking bleak right now. Steven Jackson out for the Hawks.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That is a pretty shame.
It didn't look like he really got hurt on that play. He threw a pass to the flat Matt Ryan. He ran through one defender and scored a touchdown. He was grabbing his thigh a little bit, and it was a bruise. He's been out a couple weeks. So the Falcons, they never had a running attack, so this time they're going to be with it again. Obviously, the high-powered passing of the Falcons, they'll have to continue to go back to that without a running game.
So some NFL scores around the league. We're obviously going to talk about one particular game in a minute. Patriots 13-10 over the Jets. Falcons 31-24 over the Rams. The Chargers over the Eagles. I want to touch on this game for a minute because something I brought up last season that's turning out to be true this season so far over 2 data sets. 6-0 is what the Eagles were last year when they used LaShawn McCoy 20 or more times. They are 1-1 this year when they use Sean McCoy 20 or more times. The first week they use him 35 times and they win the game. Sunday they used him 11 and they lost by 3. So they need to use LaShawn McCoy. I know Chip Kelly is more of a pass-minded guy, but when you have someone who is as diverse as LaShawn McCoy is, he's just like Ray Rice. You can use him out of the slot. He's just like Randall Cobb for that matter too. You can use him out of the slot. You can use him as a receiver. You can use him as a running back. Bottom line is, LaShawn McCoy has to touch that ball.
Yeah, a lot.
He's your best player on the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with it because I like LaShawn McCoy. I think he's a very good player.
I'd take him on the Niners in a heartbeat.
With the Eagles, for the first 2 games, they clearly don't have a defense. Clearly. I mean,
high-scoring game.
They let Washington get back in the game. Look how bad Washington is. And then San Diego ran all over them. Fell versus for over 450 yards. So they need to, again, they have the high-power offense, which is fine, but they need to find a defense because it doesn't look too good for them.
Yeah. Let's see. Some other ones. Alex Smith and the Chiefs get it done over the Cowboys 17-16. The Dolphins kind of surprised the Colts a little bit.
That was a surprising win. In Indy.
Yeah. Texans. Here's another surprising one. Texans 30 over the Titans 24. The fact that Tennessee's even in these games, though, they won week 1 against the Steelers.
And that's the Steelers.
They took it to the Titans this time. Yeah. But the Steelers at home, I don't care. They could be even wheelchairs, and the Steelers are tough to beat.
Yeah, but you look at them now, and just
the Packers 38 over the Redskins 20.
That's not even. It wasn't even that close.
How horrible did RG3 look?
It's not the score. Even though they only won by 8, it's not even that close because they were up 38-7. I think it was a big lead at one point. And I think they called the dogs off for the Packers, but the Packers just shredded that Redskins defense or what's left of it, and they need to realize where they're at now, what the Redskins need to do. RG3's clearly not 100% healthy. Nope. He's not moving as fast. They can't run out of the pistol.
He's got that leg brace. They're thinking about benching him.
Bingo. Bench him. You have a backup. You drafted a guy named Kirk Cousins. He's very capable of winning games.
Yep.
I'm going to say this right now. I firmly believe when they play this weekend, they're playing at home against the Lions. If they lose that game, which I think they will, if they lose, expect Kirk Cousins to start in week 4.
I think so. And I think it would be a good move. It's not because RG3's a bad quarterback.
No.
His legs are not 100%.
You're not Adrian Peterson. Not everyone can do that.
Nope. Can't do that.
So.
Ravens 14 over the Browns 6, with the Browns expected to start their second stringer this week. I don't think Brandon Whedon's looked bad. I think that he's hurt, and I think that's one of the things that you have to look out for. Can we get? No, we can't. We'll finish up going to the NFL, go over our pick'ems, give you Postmasters next on Triple Threat Talk.
The 80s, upon playing Madden for the first time, Darian Foster and Marshawn Lynch Sr. start an epic rivalry that will shape football in the modern era. They realize if they raise sons to be elite NFL running backs, they can use them to school each other in Madden. A unique and highly unorthodox conditioning program.
Hey, you don't scratch my car!
becomes the crux of their training.
Run that bear over! That's that beast mode right there. Hey, push it out. No pain, no man.
Today, the Suns have become the offensive threats of their father's dreams, spinning and juking their way to Madden domination.
He might have learned that from my son. He ain't learned nothing from your son.
A season 25 years in the making. Madden NFL 25. Rated E for everyone.
EA Sports. It's in the can. Official game console of the NFL.
And welcome back here on Triplethreat Talk. I am Big B, Brandon Mayer, alongside the Doc, making the chart for Pick'ems as we get more into the NFL.
Let's see here. Any other? The Bears 31 over the Vikings 30. I told you guys the Vikings were still going to have some fight in them.
No.
This score is very indicative of the contrary.
Here's the thing is, even though they were close in this game, and the Bears... The heck was that?
That was awesome.
The Bears...
I couldn't do that again if I tried.
The Bears...
For those of you that couldn't see that, the pin hit on its side and then shot back out. That was
yes, classic. But even though the Bears won this game closely, the Vikings don't have a quarterback in Christian Ponder. They don't. Just don't look at me that way. All right? Christian Ponder... This is a very bad stat. Christian Ponder has played 29 regular season games. He's thrown 29 career interceptions. That's an interception.
It is funny that that you say that, but I don't think he's as bad of a quarterback. But there is a chart before marriage and after marriage for Christian. He's done substantially worse this side of marriage.
Samantha, what are you doing to him?
It is quite humorous.
Going to Arby's and losing games.
To watch that.
I think you forgot to mention the Bills winning 24-23 over the Panthers. EJ Manuel leads them down the field. Looks very good for the Bills. Michael Rickard, you should be happy with that quarterback.
Saints 16, Bucks 14. Very close game.
After an hour of thunderstorms, lightning.
Hey, we had something like that. Let's hear. Cardinals 25 over the Lions 21. The Cardinals are winning games now that they have a competent quarterback starting.
Larry Fitzgerald's like, I'm kidding.
Larry Fitzgerald is celebrating Christmas early. Really? Raiders 19, Jaguars 9, and what came to be known as the Bridgewater or Manziel Bowl.
Jaguars are pathetic.
Yeah. And let's hear. Broncos 41 over the Giants 23. Manning versus Manning
3 and Peyton 3 now.
And Eli Manning just still continues to throw interceptions.
I didn't know this stat. I didn't think he was that bad. But ever since Eli came into the league, he has more interceptions than anybody since he came into the league. Someone was actually mentioning to me at work today about the Giants. The other ones the Super Bowl, I think, when they went 2007, they were 9-7, and went to the wild card and won Super Bowl. They started out pretty bad, also. So, is it time to panic in New York? Probably not.
Yes.
They played the Cowboys, I think, have a little bit better defense. People give them credit for, and the Broncos are just too good. Peyton Manning's just too good for that team. But it's a little bit concerning for the Giants for Eli to play that badly. If you're a Giants fan, I'd hold my breath a little bit because they don't look too good at this point. But I think they'll bounce back. They're a better team than what they showed the last 2 weeks. So.
Let's see. We have the Bengals 20 over the Steelers 10. The Steelers
don't look good. They can't run the ball. They have 75 yards rushing in 2 weeks.
The issue with the Steelers is this. They're old. No one is recognizing how old the Steelers truly are. And they are. They're old at key positions. Troy Polamalu, Big Ben, Ryan Clark. They're just...
I think Polamalu can still go. But I think the problem is...
He's played one whole season in the last 3 years. Tell me how he can still go.
I think he's still good. Pittsburgh is a team that usually is a really heavy running team. They have no one to run the ball. They can't run block at all.
Is older,
they can't run block. So it's all on Big Ben, and Big Ben's not like he used to be. He can't get out of situations like 3rd and 12 like he used to.
Antonio Brown and Todd Haley blowing up at each other on the sideline, so that's clearly an issue in the clubhouse. They got exploited on national television on Monday Night Football. Just not a good situation.
Pittsburgh is 0-2 for the first time since 2002. They're 0-2 for the first time in 11 years.
And I have a strong hankering that they're going to be 0-3. They got the Bears this week.
Yeah, Bears look good.
So,
even though they're playing in Heinz Field and its lights are on, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So.
But in the big game, of course, the big game of the week turned out to actually kind of be a sleeper. Unfortunately, the first half was very good, and then it went all downhill from there. Seahawks 29, 49ers 3 after a severe weather storm.
Yeah, you don't usually see that in Seattle. They're used to rain, but the lightning was very surprising. It was like over an hour delay. So.
Thank you.
What?
For that.
What?
I was in mid-sentence.
Oh, I thought you stopped.
No. Lightning coming through the area was good for what? A good hour delay? About an hour delay. The 49ers were, I'm going to say this, even though you may not agree, defensively, the 49ers were dominating that first quarter until that happened. I think they come out, if that weather delay doesn't happen, I think this game is different. But
maybe.
Here's the thing. I know you didn't hear much about it because you don't get up in the mornings as early as PostMaster and I do and listen to some of the radios going on. There was a substantial amount of dirty play in this game. A substantial amount.
I saw some dirty.
Yes, there was some dirty play.
It's Niners Seahawks. What do you expect?
But it was a great game. I was very impressed with the play of Russell Wilson, which I wasn't impressed with his play week 1. Russell Wilson impressed me. Marshawn Lynch did not impress me throughout much of the game. I will say much of the game. Fourth quarter, when he started getting down and getting down and dirty, that's when he started impressing me. But you even have to admit, quarters 1 through 3, he was a non-factor.
I thought he was the biggest factor of that game for the team. I mean,
in the fourth quarter, absolutely.
Wilson didn't play that great. I don't think he was 0 for his first 6, and he ended up going 8 of 13, which is not that bad. 8 of 13 is pretty good.
Yeah.
But I thought Lynch was the big factor for the game. He was able to find the runs, find the holes he needed to find.
He got shut down on key runs by that monstrous 49ers defense. It wasn't, to me watching the game, I'll even extend it maybe to the mid-third quarter, that Marshawn Lynch started to
nearly 100 yards on the ground.
So
the biggest factor for me, week 1, Anquan Bolden has 13 catches, 200 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Sunday night against the Seahawks, 1 catch.
But he wasn't targeted either.
1 catch.
He wasn't.
But again, that's not 1 catch. Richard Sherman was all over him all night long. Richard Sherman gets NFC Defensive Player of the Week, deservedly so. He had 1 interception. Even though the Seahawks offense is going to get better because they're going to get Percy Harvin back in about week 5 or week 6.
Yeah, the same with the 49ers.
Their defense is so good, it's ridiculous because Clemens isn't playing, Brandon Browner's not playing, and they still did that to the 49ers. That is incredible defense by Seattle. It's just incredible how good that team is defensively. And as I say, defense was championship, so we'll see what happens down the road. But they're gonna get even better, which is the scary thought.
The big quote of the week for me, being a 49ers fan, was Collinsworth said that in about a month their pass rush is going to be the scariest in the NFL, and I think that's the truth.
Yeah.
Alden Smith getting in for 3 sacks.
Yeah, it was good.
Wilson.
He's good.
It was just even though it was a blowout, to me it wasn't that big of a blowout because there were some great plays being made by the 49ers defensively. They picked apart Russell Wilson at many times during that game. As you said, going 0 for 6.
I mean, he did have 1 interception, but Golden Tate fell, so it's not really his fault. But I mean, for me, it's just you can't argue that the Seahawks own the Niners at home. I mean, the last 2 games they've beat them a combined score of 71-16. Yeah. So clearly, in Seattle has
and it's not just the Niners. I mean, everybody's going down hard in Seattle.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody.
So.
But anyways, getting into Pick'ems.
We'll take a break here in a minute, but we're going to get to Pick'ems a little bit.
Pick'ems, the first game this week, Chiefs at Eagles.
Thursday night football.
Postmaster Joe takes the Chiefs.
I think the Chiefs as well. I think the Chiefs, they're one of my wild card teams, and I think they're going to continue to win. I pick the Chiefs.
I'm gonna say Eagles this time.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Eagles.
They can play defense. I know. This is a good game.
Let's see here. What we got? Texans at Ravens. Postmaster picks the Ravens.
This is tough because the Ravens looked horrible last week against the Browns. The Texans have struggled a little bit. They struggled against the Chargers, and they've struggled against the Titans. I'm going to pick the Texans. I don't think the Ravens are very good. I really don't think the Ravens are that good. They're struggling on defense. They're struggling on offense. I pick the Texans.
I'm going to pick the Texans, too. Let's see here. We have the Giants at the Panthers. Postmaster picks the Giants.
2 0-2 teams. One could be 0-3, and I'm saying it's the Giants. I'm going to take the Panthers in an upset at home.
I'm going to pick the Giants as well.
I still believe in the Panthers a little bit. I think they're playing pretty well.
What did you say?
I think the Panthers.
Oh, you the Panthers. I'm picking the Giants. Let's see here. We've got Dude, you gotta seriously work on this.
Well, it's just go down the line.
Okay. Let's see here. Lions at Redskins. Postmaster picks the Redskins.
I don't see it. I think this is the last game RG3 starts with. If he continues to play well, he does. I think the Lions, hopefully they get Reggie Bush back in there. They got nicked up in that game against Arizona, but I picked the Lions.
I'm picking the Lions, too. Chargers at Titans. Postmaster picks the Chargers.
Chargers look pretty good the last couple of weeks. They were competitive against the Texans, and they beat the Eagles, even though the Eagles don't have a defense. Titans are a little surprising. I think they're better than people give them credit for, but I like the Chargers in this one.
I'm going to have to go with the Chargers as well. Let's see. We have the Cardinals at the Saints.
Cardinals are better than they...
Postmaster picks the Saints.
All right, okay. Cardinals and people give them credit for, but I think the Saints' offense is too much. I pick the Saints.
I, too, will pick the Saints. And when we come back, we will finish up our pick'ems and go into coverage of wrestling. And Brian Cannon takes OVW coverage when we come back after the break. Triple Threat Talk.
IWU Louisville knows business. Not only did I earn my graduate degree, but I experienced a well-rounded education that benefits me my entire life.
The enrollment experience here is fantastic. They fit it around my schedule. They know I'm working. They know I have a family. They really took an interest in my goals here at IWU. IWU knows business.
Indiana Wesleyan University, Louisville. Change your life, change your world.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. Let's say Postmaster Jones, Big P. Brandon Muir alongside Gary the Dr. Lockhart. We're going through pick'ems, and now we're up to the Bucks at the Patriots.
Bucks at Patriots. Postmaster picks the Patriots.
Gronk might play. I'm banking on that he will. Will he be 100% healthy? I highly doubt it, but I still like the Patriots.
Packers at Bengals. Postmaster picks the... Yeah, oh, sorry. I picked the Patriots. Postmaster picks the Packers.
Okay. This is a good game. I think the Bengals at home. I just think the Packers are too good on offense. I picked the Packers.
Rams. I picked the Packers as well. Postmaster in this next game takes the Cowboys at Rams at Cowboys.
Cowboys didn't look too good offensively last week, even though the Chiefs have a good defense. I'm going to take the Cowboys at Jerry World.
I'm going to take the Cowboys as well.
Jerry World.
Browns at Vikings. Postmaster picks the Vikings.
Browns, they've given up. They have officially given up on their season. They traded away their best player, as we mentioned in the beginning of the show. Trent Richardson goes to the Colts, which makes the Colts extremely scary, even more than they are now. Browns have a backup. I think the Vikings this one. The Browns are really going to start tanking. Supposedly there was scouts at the A&M Alabama game. They are looking at Manziel. Does he want to go to Cleveland? I highly doubt it. But I think Cleveland wants Manziel, so it looks like they're going to give up. So I pick the Vikings. I'm
picking the Vikings as well. Since they're giving up on their season, I might be giving up on them as my wild card.
It looks like they don't think they care anymore.
But we'll see. Falcons at Dolphins. Postmaster picks the Falcons.
Dolphins are looking good. I'm going to pick the upset here. I'm going to pick the Dolphins at home. I think the Dolphins are... If they continue to play this way, and then Patriots struggle, look for the Dolphins to take over and possibly win that division. I'm
going to pick the Falcons with Postmaster. To your point, if there was going to be an upset this week, I think it's going to be this game. Mm-hmm. But I think Roddy White and Julio Jones is just...
I mean, that passing attack is phenomenal.
It's just too
But I think the added presence of Mike Wallace on offense for Thanos makes a good target.
But their defense, the Falcons' defense, can easily double team Wallace.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying I think the Dolphins are a surprisingly 2-0 team, and they look really good. Beating the Colts is a very good win for them.
Bills at the Jets. Postmaster picks the Bills.
I like the Bills. EJ Manuel looked very good last week. That team looks really well. The Jets don't impress me at all. I picked the Bills.
I'm picking the Bills. Colts at Niners. Postmaster picks the 49ers.
This is tough because now they have Trent Richardson. Just hear me out. They have Trent Richardson now, which is a very good running back, and Marshawn Lynch was able to run 100 yards on that defense on Sunday. Richardson's a good running... What are you looking at me for here? Colts are a good team, buddy.
Are you forgetting the fact that the 49ers are pissed off?
I didn't forget that.
Okay.
But the Colts are a good team, but I'm going to take the 49ers. But this is a close game because
the Colts are a great team.
Very good.
But the Colts are going to get slaughtered on Sunday.
I don't see a slaughter. I think the added presence of Richardson helps them.
When you have a mad 49ers team, we saw it twice last year. Doesn't matter how good the next team is, they're going to get killed.
I say Niners win by maybe 5 points.
No, I'd say it's more than that.
Colts, they're good.
Jags and Seahawks. Postmaster picks the Seahawks.
Oh my God!
This is going to be the slaughter.
I'll say two things in this game. One, if the Seahawks could do that defensively to an excellent team like the Niners, what are they going to do to a team that's Jaguars? And then also, the Seahawks are a 21-point favorite. Way back when in the 70s, when the Bucks were coming into the league, as everyone knows them as the Yuccaneers, they were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think the Steelers were a 27-point favorite, and the Steelers exceeded that. I think they won by like 30-something points. So I expect to see Tavares Jackson in this game sometime, because I think the Seahawks just roll over the Jaguars. I really do.
I'm picking the Seahawks.
How pathetic is Jacksonville? They are really pathetic. And I remember Jimmy actually sent me a message on Facebook that there were fans rallying outside the stadium in Jacksonville to get Tim Tebow. What do you have to lose? Would you rather suck and sell tickets or just suck? You can't do any worse than you are now.
If the fans want him and he's available, you got to get him. You got to.
Yeah.
It's about business. It's about making what WWE's saying a lot lately. It's about what's best for business. Bears at Steelers Sunday Night Football. Postmaster picks the Bears.
Steelers are really struggling. I picked the Bears.
I picked the
Bears.
It's going
to be bad for the Steelers to lose twice at home already.
Raiders at Broncos on Monday night. Postmaster picks the Broncos.
You might see Brock Osweiler in this. Although the Raiders are better than people give them credit for, but I think the Broncos are just the toast of the AFC. There's no one better than the AFC than the Broncos right now. Nobody.
The Broncos for myself as well. Let's see here. I think that's about it.
That does it for Pick'ems.
That does it for Pick'ems. So we're going to go into wrestling, our wrestling coverage. We're going to start things off with Mr. Brian Cannon. Take it away.
Brian Cannon.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of OVW Mania here on Triple Threat Talk. I am Brian Cannon, and I'm going to be talking about episode number 735 this week. It was the huge fall season premiere of OVW that they filmed for their online viewing and, of course, WBNA Ion 21. For all the details, you can go to ovwmania.blogspot.com. But here's a quick rundown of what happened, starting on the main show. Michael Hayes, Muhammad Ali Vaez, your current OVW Southern Tag Team Champions, came out to commentary to watch the best team ever defeat the Marauders. The best team ever is now the new #1 contenders for the OVW Southern Tag Team Championships. And they will be fighting at SNS for those titles. The Marauders kept trying to interfere, but the best team ever was able to hit their finisher on Joe Coleman for the victory. The Young Guns challenge, Evan Markopoulos and Dylan Bostic. That match got thrown out. It was a no contest because both of them kept trying to cheat using. They both tried pulling each other's tights and using chains. And once they both got chains out of their tights, referee Josh Ashcraft just said that it was enough and threw the match out. The Pope, Elijah Burke, defended the TV title against Flash Flanagan in a rematch from last week. And again, the Marauders tried to interfere, but to no avail. Pope hits the double knee facebuster on Flash and retains the OVW TV title. Then a match between Marcus Anthony and Jay Bradley. Marcus goes to hit a backflip Gamma punch off the top rope. A very impressive looking move. Jay Bradley rolls out of the ring, however. Marcus starts chasing him to the back, but decides to get back in the ring. As he's getting back in the ring, Jay Bradley sneaks out behind him, gets in the ring, and Marcus turns around into a boomstick, and Jay Bradley gets the victory. In another grudge match, James Moose Thomas and Paradise fought. Moose hits the Moose kick and then continually pounds Paradise head into the mat, just like he did with Eddie Diamond the week before. And Eddie Diamond came out to try to help Paradise, but he got a Moose kick as well. And Moose was going to try to use a chair on one or both of them, and the save came then from Jamin Olivencia, the OVW Heavyweight Champion. Timmy Danger grabbed a mic and said, do we have your attention now? So it appears that Moose is looking to grab the gold, and at the next Saturday Night Special, we will probably see Jamin Olivencia and Moose one-on-one for the OVW Heavyweight Championship. The big match of the night, of course, was the Fatal 4-Way ladder match, and we had a very special guest ring announcer, OVW alumni and Impact Wrestling ring announcer Christy Hemme, who I got a picture with here. And then in that main event, it was the Blossoms, Lady Tapa, and Taylor Hendricks all trying to climb the ladder to become new OVW Women's Champion. In the end, Taylor was knocked out. The Blossoms knocked Tapa from the ladder. And then in a surprising move to some, Hannah Blossom knocks off her own sister Holly from the ladder to grab the title and become your new OVW Women's Champion. So that'll be interesting to see the dynamics over the next couple weeks between Hannah and Holly, what happens with them. It looks like at the next Saturday night special, which comes your way Saturday, October 5th at the Davis Arena, we've already got 2 big matches lined up. The Best Team Ever against Muhammad Ali Vaez and Michael Hayes for the OVW Southern Tag Team titles, as well as a possibility, it looks like we're going to see Jamin Olivencia defend against James Moose Thomas for the OVW Heavyweight Championship. Don't forget, more details, dark match results, you can go to ovwmania.blogspot.com, check out what's going on there, including there was a big 6-man tag main event between the VIP Club and the champions, Jamin Olivencia, Michael Hayes, and Muhammad Ali Vaez. And don't forget this episode, if you weren't there live and you want to see it yourself because it was an incredible show, is always online starting on Thursdays on blip.tv and of course ovwrestling.com. And of course on regular TV, you can check it out on here in the Louisville area on WBNA Ion 21, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., Sunday evenings at 6 p.m., and Wednesday evenings at 9 p.m. following WWE's main event. Speaking of WWE, make sure you check out SmackDown on Friday, which will be September the 20th, because OVW Heavyweight Champion Jamin Olivencia was used. Now, it sounds like he didn't fare too well because they threw him in a match against Ryback, but still, exposure for Jamin. Hopefully it'll lead to bigger and better things for him. It's one of those things with being an OVW fan, you're always you always love seeing the wrestlers here and getting to know them and becoming big fans of them. But at the same time, especially somebody like Jamin, who I think deserves a big shot, whether it's TNA or WWE. You want to see them rise and be able to go on to bigger and better things, even though you're going to miss them down here. But hopefully that was kind of like another look tryout for Jamin, and that maybe some big things are coming his way from them. So make sure you check out SmackDown. This was kind of short and sweet this week, but I want to thank everyone once again at OVW. I talked to Michael Hayes at the show Wednesday night, and he's even trying to do more things to help me help my blog get out to more people. Thanks as always to like referee Chris Sharp and Terry Bodie, which you can follow at Ref Chris Sharp and at TP Bodie. They're always real good about sharing and retweeting my news and information. And thanks everyone out there for watching Triple Threat Talk, and especially this OVW Mania segment. That's all I've got for today, so have a great week, and we will see you once again next week. But for now, back to the guys in the Triple Threat studios.
Good stuff as always. I'm really looking forward to that 4-way ladder match. Hopefully we got some coverage on that next week. I'm sure we will. It's the first ever 4-way ladder match for Women's Championship. You had the Blossoms, Lady Tapa, and friend of the show, the gorgeous, the beautiful, the talented Miss Taylor Hendricks. So we're looking forward to getting a report up on that next week. I think that's even going to be their main event.
I think so. It's the first ever.
It's the first ever. All right, so wrestling this week. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you guys Night of Champions.
What about it?
Yeah. I said Daniel Bryan would win.
Very good, sir.
I did. It was awesome.
I didn't. Again, we were busy watching something else, something more important to us. But I did have the pay-per-view on. I was going back and forth looking at it. I saw Bryan did win. I saw Ziggler did lose, but he won on Monday, which is surprising. I guess he might be out of the doghouse right now with what he did since he won a match, but we'll see. Primetime players do win that battle royal, but they end up losing to the Shield later on. So it was a pretty decent pay-per-view. I guess because I didn't pay attention to it, it wasn't as good as I thought it was, but I think it was pretty decent. RVD losing to Alberto Del Rio, and so we'll see what happens.
CM Punk getting Rybacked.
Yeah, that was surprising.
That was, and then Paul Heyman pulling a U and kissing another man on the show. That was great.
It was kind of weird because the way the camera was positioned. Get away from me. The way the camera was positioned, Heyman was in his wheelchair, because he's so in devastating pain. And Ryback was like saying, as long as I'm here, I'm never going to let anything happen to you. And you see the way Heyman turns to him and looks at him with his eyes like glazed over. He's just looking at him. He's just like, he kisses him on the cheek. I was like, what is this? So I don't know what's going on with that. But
that was unplanned, by the way.
I guess Ryback is a Paul Heyman guy, as they say.
That was unplanned. He just did that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He did.
I'm sure Ryan Reach is like, yum.
Yeah. So, they're going in the right direction. The Wyatt family had a promo that was really good, just out of nowhere, which was pretty fun.
As they always do.
And those matadors get closer and closer to gracing us with their presence.
Ole.
Number one trend on Twitter at one point Monday night.
What I've been hearing, and this kind of makes a little bit of sense, when they come in, they're going to start feuding with the real Americans. So the matadors versus Americans. Ole, as I would say. Ole! Ole!
Ole!
Yes.
So, that is wrestling coverage for this week. Man, we have just absolutely rocked it out. Oh, one thing on sports I forgot. Golf. They're now looking into fan participation because in one of the backswings that Sergio took, right when he was coming down in his swing, somebody said, "Yo, go Tiger" in the tournament last week, and if looks could kill, the guy that said that would be dead because Sergio Garcia definitely shot him in nasty.
Another sports story we forgot to mention was NASCAR. We're not sure what happened. Hopefully, PostMaster Jones can give us an update next week because we don't really follow NASCAR as much as he does. So hopefully, he can give us more up to date about the chase and all that stuff that's going on. I'm not going to delve too much into this because we're getting close to the wild card segment, but I'll just mention it out there and see what you guys think about this. Is actually a huge poor taste by LSU. They played Kent State, who's not really a good football school. LSU is obviously one of the powerhouses. And LSU fraternity hung a banner in front of the Delta Kappa Epsilon house saying, quote,
Epsilon.
Thank you, quote, saying, "Getting massacred is nothing new to Kent State." Now, when you hear that, if you're our age, you're not really sure what this is, but what it is, it's a reference to the 1970 campus shooting in which the Ohio National Guard opened fire around 2,000 students protesting, and 4 Kent State students were killed with 9 wounded. So that's horrible taste by LSU. Hopefully the fraternity gets disciplined for that, as they should. That's just a horrible thing. Some things cross the line, and that definitely did for me. So,
Big B, you got a wild card?
Yes, I do. Now, this wild card I heard about it on Monday Night Countdown. It was the episode, the segment. Come on, man! I looked this up myself.
Come on, man!
High school football, right? Around here, Trinity, St. X.
Before you get into this, I do have to say, out west, a player was tragically killed. Helmet to helmet contact hit. Walked off the field. Later, about 10-15 minutes later, dropped dead. Very sad. They've got to look into this.
Yeah. High school football here. Columbia River went for a game-winning 32-yard field goal. So not a chip shot, but makeable. To win the game, they were trailing 24-23 to Skyview. Skyview blocks the kick. Immediately runs off the field. Celebration. We blocked the kick. We blocked the kick. The ball's still on the field. The ball's still in play. Coaches for Columbia River begin shouting, "It's live! Pick it up! Pick it up!" Quarterback picks it up. Scores winning touchdown. They win 29-24. If you don't believe me, check this out. And you see, there it is. They block the kick, and they run it for a touchdown.
Wow.
So, they run a celebration. We blocked it. We blocked it.
They might be our idiots of the week.
The ball's still on the field.
That's ridiculous.
Always keep your eye
on the
ball.
Always. I don't have a wild card this week, so
I think that does it.
That's fun.
That does it for this week.
We had an hour. We knocked that out in an hour.
Good job by us, as always. So if you want to do a good job this week, click that like button on Facebook at facebook.com/triplethreattalk. If you want to do another good deed this week, go to Twitter and click that follow button at triplethreattalk on Twitter.
If you want to do a third good deed this week, send me $100.
That would be a horrible thing to do.
That'd be awesome.
Who knows how you would spend it on? If you want to send us any,
for them to find out.
If you want to send us any comment or question you have, and of course your blogs, please go to triplethreattalk@yahoo.com. Thank you to Terry and Cheryl Bodie for all they do for us, especially for our website, triplethreattalk.com. This is Big B back from Mars.
How was that?
It was a little cooler because it's further from the sun. But anyway,
this is Gary the Dr. Spock signing off.
See you next week, guys. And PostMaster hopefully comes back next week with NASCAR coverage, and hopefully this is still in my possession next week. We'll find out. See you next week, guys.